Okay, so we're in the suburb of Stara Milosna, which is part of Warsaw, in the regional park here. It's actually the floodplain of the Vistula River, which has been reclaimed. Very few of these trees are older than 100 years. Most of them are scrub brush. There's a lot of swamp here. But what I wanted to say, why I feel so at home here and comfortable here, is that it reminds me of a lot of forests in southern Ontario, where I come from. Very characteristic. Maybe fewer maple trees. Pine trees dominate here, but most of them have been planted over the years, just to hold the sand from shifting. And today you could say it's soil, but it's very sandy soil. Not good for much besides a forest. So I've been painting in these forests for more than 25 years, mostly in the summer. I think I might get my kit and come out here while I can. It's nice and white and it's very warm weather. It's about 1 or 2 degrees even. But I think I've painted every interesting tree that you can find in this forest, but I keep finding more subjects. I paint trees, that's what I do. And then you see trees like this and you think, yeah, I can do something with that. There's one. There's a second. And behind it there is the third. And you can see so much potential there for a subject with all this drama, with the arching and twisting branches and trunks. Look at that. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep looking. Maybe we can find more subjects that would be suitable as for a painting. Yeah? Let's go. The other reason I want to film this is year by year, as you can imagine, with a growing city like Warsaw, there's an encroaching of the forest and new buildings. Oi. And fences, and suddenly there's a fence, and before you know it, it's private property. And they keep pushing the water, because the water is still here, and they're just pushing the water further here, over there. Water has to go somewhere. It is a swamp. And into their basements, because that's how it's going to end up, of course. Which is maybe why most of these houses, these modern houses, are built without basements. And they're just sitting on top of the water without knowing it. Well, look at here. I guess next time I come out here, I won't be able to get in here. This was a beautiful mini meadow. So if you look in the background there, you see these two mighty oaks. The developers or the builders were forced to leave them, and because they're protected trees, which you can see a lot of the branches, the lower branches, have been cut off. Those two trees must be at least 200 years old, you know? So one of the first noticeable casualties of this process was our beloved sand hill, which was used as a toboggan hill. Not a big one, but a nice one. It was. And this home was literally built right on top of it. No longer really exists. You can't even get there because of this wire. They're just claiming the land, literally. I don't know why they do that. Just to be difficult. Nice house, of course. Actually, I know my neighbors. I know all my neighbors. Beautiful house. He's an architect. And they're planting these pine trees, naturally, to hold the sand. And this was our beloved, great for small kids, yeah? 6, 7 years old, perfect. Ooh, right? Wait a second. I see tracks. Sled tracks. Coming. Turning. Oh well, there's a house here. Let's go home. Okay. Let's find another hill. There are other hills, of course, in this forest. It's very hilly. We'll find another one. Hey! Ooh! 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 Hey! Ooh! Fun. And the rest of us get to look at this fence. It's a new street, beautiful. Who wouldn't want to live here? I would. Reminds me of the most exclusive neighborhoods in parts of Toronto. These houses would be $5–8 million houses. They're not cheap here either. All this construction. This is very popular these days. These kind of mini houses. And I know this family as well. They got kind of rich by selling some of their property across the street. But these mini houses are quite cute. I wonder if he made it for grandma. They seem to follow a similar design. There's some company that supplies them. This guy's a carpenter. Man, he's probably built it himself. Actually, it's got next door, but I assume it's the same guy. This was his work 20 years ago. Doesn't quite look the same. It's his workshop. And then we got these McMansions, I think they're called. Yeah. There's this house with a little bit more style. Beautiful tree. And then we're back to these mansions. All this brick. Which is not typical in Poland. I wonder if it's just a facade or if it's really brick. They painted it white, which is kind of weird for me. This is what you would call your typical Polish house 20 or 30 years ago. It's made of large blocks, not bricks like that, but large blocks, and then they plaster it, and they insulate it with styrofoam, big squares of styrofoam. And you've got some beautiful tucked away houses, something for a Christmas card. So lovely. Yeah? Nice. And then at the end of the street, take a peek, we can see they have a nice pond, and the water table is a little bit over a meter. So the water is a meter under our feet here. So, at least in this point. In other points, it's a little bit higher. Here it's about a meter. Right. And this house was built about 30 years ago. So this was the first wave of mansion builders in the 90s. You had some people with a lot of money, very often illicit money, and they thought, yeah, let's build ourselves a castle, as one does. Different generation, a totally different approach. And then right next to that you have these original houses. This housing estate was originally built to have these type of houses. This was planned in the 80s, even the late 70s. It didn't get built until the end of the 80s, early 90s. These are, let's say, the original wooden houses. This one has been plastered over, but it's a wooden house.